All right, let's get into it. The Minnesota Vikings have traded for Los Angeles Rams running back Cam Akers. Now, I'm going to give you my quick opinion on how I feel this will either help the team or hurt the team. Well, first off, I think about it like this. If the coaching staff really believe in Alexander Mattison to be the true number one back, then they wouldn't have made this deal. We all know that Alexander Mattison has been subpar as of late. If you listen to my last video, I explained to you guys basically how sometimes backups exceed in backup roles, but when they become like the main guy, they kind of struggle. I'm not saying that Alexander Mattison can't get his legs up under him and be a bell cow running back in this league. What I am saying is that he is struggling right now, and I feel like bringing in a running back like Cam Akers, if he's healthy and he got the right mentality to come to this team, it will help this team going forward. Because I really believe that if you want to go deep in the playoffs and be a successful team, you have to have a consistent running game. You have to basically have defense. I'm not going to say fear your running game, but basically respect it. And with the past 2 weeks, I think the Minnesota Vikings have only put up like 68, 70 yards, and Alexander Mattison accommodated for like 60 of those, and Kirk Cousins, scrambling, whatever. Like, that's not what you need to be doing to start the season off. So, like I said before, if the coaching staff believed that Alexander Mattison was that bell cow running back, they wouldn't have made this trade. But let's also, on the flip side, think about it like this. During the offseason, there was speculation about, Dalvin Cook was going to leave the team and the team was going to have a true running back committee. We're bringing in Cam Akers. I think you're probably going to get a true running back committee. You guys all remember the days of Mewelde Moore, Ontario Smith, Michael Bennett, Mo Williams, just those guys to name a few. That was before the Vikings, drafted Adrian Peterson, and he was that bell cow running back. Matter of fact, we rewind that before the Vikings actually signed Chester Taylor, where he became the number one running back, and then Adrian Peterson got drafted a year later and took over. But if you actually think about those years with Mewelde Moore, Michael Bennett, and those guys were consistent and they were effective running the ball as running back committee. I feel like the past two games didn't really show the Vikings knew how to run a back committee or didn't have the players for a running back committee. And I do understand that, with bringing Cam Akers in, it's going to probably eat into the shared carries for Ty Chandler, and everybody want to see what this young guy is about. But that's probably something that you got to think about too. If they really believe that Ty Chandler could be the number two running back or, share carries with Alexander Mattison, they wouldn't have brought in Cam Akers. So I'm not going to fault Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell too much for not making this move earlier, but I feel like the season is slipping away. So basically, you got to do what you got to do, to get this team on the right track. And I really believe that running the ball effectively is the right way to get it done, because if everybody knows you're going to drop back every play, they're not going to respect your running game. And I'm not saying Cam Akers is going to come in here and be all world, but I do think him coming here and pairing with Alexander Mattison, because Alexander Mattison is a different style of running back, I think their styles together will kind of give the Vikings, a more efficient running game. So I don't think that he may play Sunday against the Chargers, considering he just got with the team, but he is familiar with Kevin O'Connell because Kevin O'Connell was there when they won the Super Bowl. But I think that was the year that Cam Akers got hurt with the Achilles or whatever. I'm not sure, but I do understand, he might know the offense or some of the similarities or whatever. But I'm looking forward to it because I'm telling you, I'm gonna go back to it. I believe in running the ball. And if you look at the last game with the Eagles, where the Eagles basically embarrassed, the Vikings' whole defense. I'm not going to say the D-line. I'm going to say the whole defense, because your whole defense gave up over 200 yards. I think Kevin O'Connell is like, look, I know I can make the plays to go down the field and pass and, get Addison open. And, we all know JJ's all world. But what can I do to make this running game more effective? And bringing in a guy like Cam Akers, if he can stay healthy and if he has the right mentality, because we've been hearing about reports about him getting into it with coaches and being away from the team. I just hope that he can come in here and give this, Minnesota Vikings running game a jolt. I do understand that they did just sign Dalton Reisner, for pass protection. He's not a good, pass blocker or whatever. I mean, run blocker. But we're just gonna see. We're gonna wait and see. I'm still reserved on how I feel about Kevin O'Connell, as a coach with his play calling, whatever. But this move right now gives me a little bit excited, and it helps me out understand with the team. Like, hey, we trying to win. We're not just finna lay down and die. So that's just my quick, opinion on the Vikings trading for Cam Akers. Let's see what he does. Let's go, baby.